6, students with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a common disorder in children and adults. ADHD has been described as a medical condition of the brain, a mental disorder, a neurodevelopmental disorder, or a brain-based disorder that originates during youth and remains through adulthood. It has also been described as differences in brain development and brain activity that affects an individual's attention and self-control. ADHD presents deficits in executive functioning, which includes difficulty with processing information to make decisions, take actions, and solve problems. Although ADHD is a very common disorder in children, it is not considered a disability category under IDEA. If the effects of ADHD are so significant that it has an adverse effect on the student's educational performance and warrants the need for specially designed instruction, the student may be eligible to receive special education services under the disability category Other Health Impairment. Students who are not eligible under the disability category Other Health Impairment may still receive support through Section 504. There are 3 types of ADHD: predominantly inattentive type, predominantly impulsive hyperactive type, and predominantly combined type. With predominantly inattentive type, the individual gets distracted easily, has difficulty with following instruction, is disorganized, or easily loses track of things. With predominantly hyperactive impulsive type, the individual experiences high energy level with no breaks and often does not think before doing things, like blurting out, interrupting, risky behavior, doing things without thinking of possible consequences. With predominantly combined type, the individual experiences a combination of both inattention and hyperactivity, so most students with ADHD are combined type. Many children and adults exhibit these characteristics and behaviors at some level. However, when diagnosing ADHD, specialists determine if these characteristics display at a level that exceeds typical development, are consistent across different settings, impairs learning and or functioning, and present itself over time. As I just mentioned, a lot of the characteristics of ADHD are like what we see in any child and adult, which may lead to many parents and families not wanting to have their children evaluated or diagnosed as having ADHD. Some parents may want their child's behavior to be normalized and may describe their child's behavior as, oh, they're just really excited, they're just being extra, or they're just being a kid. Some parents and families may feel that having a child with the label ADHD is a stigma rather than an opportunity for the student to receive support and services to help them achieve. So as educators and other professionals, it is important not to dismiss the concern you may have about a student's behavior or academic difficulties if the parent generalizes their behavior to, my child is just being my child, or my child is just being bad. There's nothing wrong with them. This could lead to prejudgment and bias when working with the student. The educator could develop the incorrect perception, such as, well, maybe that is just how they act, which leads to missed opportunities to identify the student's needs and provide the student with the appropriate support. Yes, it may be overwhelming to work with a classroom of students with diverse learning needs, but what is most important is for educators and other professionals to recognize students' gifts and talents, not just their challenges, and be willing to help the students acknowledge their own gifts and talents. Educators and other professionals may collaborate with one another to develop educational plans or supports that may or may not be used in conjunction with medication to address the needs of students with ADHD. So do note that educators and team members should never suggest a child needs medication. Only a doctor can make that determination. Team members also cannot make taking medication a requirement for students with ADHD or any disability to attend school. Not all parents or families support the use of medication for their children. So we always have to remember the importance of acknowledging and respecting the parents' decisions and choices for their children. So Chapter 6 defines ADHD, provides descriptions of the characteristics of ADHD, as well as how ADHD is assessed, and presents various academic supports and behavior interventions that can help meet the needs, the diverse needs of students with ADHD. To apply what you learn in Chapter 6, reflect on the following questions. What are some strategies that educators and other professionals can use to create an inclusive, supportive classroom that helps students develop their organizational skills? Think about situations in which there are parents of children with ADHD who refuse their child's use of medication to help deal with their condition. So if a parent is absolutely unwilling to consider the use of medication as part of their child's treatment plan for ADHD, then it is the responsibility of teachers to implement appropriate behavior management strategies to help improve the situation. So think about that type of scenario, and also think about what are examples of environmental supports or classroom supports or behavior interventions that educators can use in these situations. And what can other educators and other professionals do to enhance their interactions with the parents of the children with ADHD? As I've mentioned in previous chapters, these activities are not required. This is not a required assignment, but it is an opportunity for you to apply what you learn in Chapter 6.